Welcome to another episode of Be Growth Driven. It's actually been a little bit since we've been on, but I want to welcome you. And we have an awesome episode for you today. For all of you out there, entrepreneurs, business owners, maybe you're starting out, maybe you're actually just trying to be a solopreneur or an intrapreneur inside of a business. Your brand is the key thing that's going to get you places in life. And I'm really excited to have a good friend, Buck Wise. He's a seasoned entrepreneur with expertise in personal branding, marketing strategy, content creation, and profit growth for leaders around the world. And he sold multiple million-dollar marketing agencies. He has a proven track record of working with top brands like Starbucks, Nike, and Google, Ryan Serrant, and even Grant Cardone. And as CEO of the Closing Day agency, Buck helps high-achieving entrepreneurs attain true growth and freedom by utilizing his wealth of experience and knowledge in the industry. So I want to give a warm welcome here to my good friend, Buck. Buck, thanks for joining us today, man. Really thrilled to have you here.
Dude, Joel, are you kidding me, man? If you said, Buck, there's a platform where there's going to be entrepreneurs that need help with their personal brand, not only am I going to show up, but you sure as hell know I'm going to document the process like I'm doing right now with my buddy Joe Burr.
Let's go, man. And this, I'm glad that we're talking about personal brand because personal brand's a big thing for a lot of people. And it's
the only thing. It's the only thing.
100%. No, I agree with that. It's a big thing because it's like, that's how you're going to get noticed. That's how you tell the story of what you're all about.
Yeah, it's so true. The other piece is that people forget it's the only thing you actually own. A lot of you are building businesses and you're creating IP and you're creating processes, your SOPs and structure, and you've got value and products and services. And one day you want to exit that business and you're going to sell everything. And you're not going to have any of those things left in your life, but your personal brand is the only thing you keep. So Elon Musk might have sold all his companies. Maybe when he sold PayPal, right? He kept his personal brand when he sold PayPal. So the question is, when you sell and go to the next, whatever the next entrepreneurial mission is, how much equity do you still have in your brand online? Because that's how you have the ability to connect with more people and build things faster. That's it. But it is a rocket ship to meeting more people. I just wish more entrepreneurs invested in it.
Yeah. Well, you got to stand out. Simple as that. I mean, I stand out just because of my height. If you've met me in person,
you really do. You're a tall guy, Joel. You stand out in every room. How do you stand out online when height doesn't matter? Because you and I look the same height right now, right?
100%.
And that's strategy.
The most interesting thing I've ever heard was like I look different than on Clubhouse, and I'm like, of course I look different on Clubhouse than live. But
wow, no, you probably get. I know you get in person. Boy, you're taller than I thought. I always get. Wow, you look bigger on social. I always get that.
No, but the personal brand. So I mean, introduce yourself a little bit. I mean, I kind of introduced you, but tell us a little bit about like your background, like where do you come from and why are you the guy that knows this personal brand?
Absolutely. It started with iHeartRadio. I was 17 years old and I was like, dude, I'm a middle child. I love this lens. I love this microphone. I want to be the guy that everybody listens to. I want to tell a story and I want to drive a behavior. And that's where it started. So I moved from doing overnights in Tampa, Florida to my first market, Las Vegas, Nevada. And I got my own radio show. And when I got my own radio show, I had an opportunity a year later. They said, hey, we want to move you to Los Angeles and syndicate to 45 markets. I said, hell yeah. And they go, we're going to pair you with a guy named Ryan Seacrest. So this was me at 22 years old in Los Angeles, working alongside Seacrest. But what I was learning, Joel, no one cares about my story. Oh, that's so impressive. Wow, you worked with Ryan Seacrest. No, here's the point of the story. I learned how to create content that grabbed attention, that was so compelling, it drove people to drive a behavior or to take an action, right? Because too many people are, hi, everybody. How are you today? What are you doing? I'm so excited. Like no one knows how to make impactful content that really resonates and builds a community. And so I learned how to do that at 17 years old. I learned how to make content interesting and tell stories about myself that related to people. And so that's where it all started for me, well before I built an agency, sold an agency, worked with Grant Cardone, you know?
Right.
But it wasn't until later. It wasn't until later that I built the agency that I learned business acumen. I learned how to how to run a P&L. I learned how to hire my first person, and then shit, I had to fire my first person. I didn't know how to do that. I was like, am I going to get sued? Am I allowed to fire this person? I don't even know,
It's one of the most awkward things in businesses. I mean, I've been there. I'm like, man, I hang on to people, and that's a whole nother podcast, but it's like I hang on to people
Yeah.
way too long.
Yeah.
And you get caught up, but kind of going back to that personal brand, you're talking about, hey, what's going to hook people's attention, get their attention. And I remember an interesting statistic as far as why this is so important is today, the average person is barraged by about 4,000 to 6,000 advertisements
Yeah.
per day.
Yep.
And
It's unreal.
so if you're trying to get attention, like you got to stand out.
Well, here's the other stat too. Outside of all the noise, let's call that noise. You call it ads, I call it noise, right?
Right.
Outside of all the noise, the white noise, the other stat we know is the average user only gives you about 2 seconds to decide whether or not they're going to continue watching, listening, or interacting with your content. 1, 2. So take your phone if you're watching this. If you're listening, take your phone and you go like this with your finger. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. And if you know that's the time you have to create attention and you're telling a story about who you are, the value you bring, the problem you solve, and how you're different from a competitor, how can you do that in 2 seconds or less? And that's what I travel the world teaching entrepreneurs, coaches, and owners is how to tell that story in a way that's compelling. And I do believe every entrepreneur has a unique story to tell. The question is it organized? The problem is people don't know where to start, where to stop, where to end. And so I help all these owners organize, strategize, and create more equity in their name online. That's really the expertise of the Closing Day Agency.
I love it. I love it. So if we were to, for example, kind of dive into it and break this down for our viewers, they're watching this, they're like, okay, maybe maybe they think they got their personal brand together. But if you're going to say, hey, there's 3 big things that most people miss. Like the 3 big problems you see all the time. What would be the first one?
Yeah, Joel, that's a good question. And let me just give some stats. Number 1, most entrepreneurs are shooting from the hip, meaning that you don't have a organized structure, AKA strategy. You really don't have a process or system for your brand or your content. You're just talking and trying things. You might even hire an agency. Most agencies don't have experience in strategy. They're mostly creative in nature, meaning they're like, we're going to make videos and chop them up and put them online and make you look cool. That's not going to drive business. That's not intentional content. That's not strategic content. So even if you hire someone, you're still not strategic, right? And then what happens? 6 months later, 5 months later, 90 days later, you fire them. Well, I just don't see the ROI. I spent $2,000 a month and, I looked cool, but I wasn't doing anything and there was no money coming in. That's because there's no strategy. So the first piece, number 1, Joel wants 3. I'll give you the 3 top. Number 1, you got to have a strategy. And how do you get one? You work with somebody that knows how to speed up time. So I've built strategies for some of the world's biggest billionaires, some of the biggest entrepreneurs in the world, some of the biggest Fortune 100 companies. So I know how to dissect and move quickly through who you are and who you're targeting. And that would be my other 2 points, is if you don't know who you are, you're never going to be able to explain it to someone else. In less than 1 sentence, tell me who you are, why you exist, and how you're different. If you don't know how to do that, you're never going to get the trust of the client. You never will, because you don't know yourself. What makes you think they know you? And then you have to understand them. You have to really intimately understand the consumer, the avatar, the persona, whatever you want to call it, the person you're trying to magnetize and attract into your ecosystem. If you don't know who they are, then you're just casting a wide net across the internet and you're wondering why you don't get leads. You're just promoting yourself online with videos that are bland and you're not really speaking directly to the consumer in a way that resonates with them so much that they're compelled to take an action to reach out with you. And the quote goes like this: today is the day. How do you get that individual on the other side of this in your short form social content to say, hey, Buck, hey, Joel, I hear what you're saying and it feels so right in my heart. I'm going to send you a DM because I need to have a conversation with you. I get more than $1.2 million a month in leads through connection through Instagram. 1.2. And I know that because I'm so specific with who I'm talking to, and it resonates so well with them that I develop organic, natural relationships. I don't sell anything. I don't put a link out and say, click this link if you want to buy better personal branding. No, I talk about how we solve challenges for entrepreneurs that are looking for better growth. And I get those relationships. Then we move through what's your sales cycle. Then we move through, well, what do you offer? How much does it cost? And how can we help one another? But I earn the trust first through impact, credibility, and validation. And once I have those things, the sell sells itself. I don't have to sell anything. They just go, okay, great. You're the guy. I know you're the guy to help me.
I love that.
Let me recap that, Joel. 1,
Yeah.
strategy. 2, brand. Who are you? What do you stand for? 3, who's your target? You don't have those 3 things. Honestly, you're just dumping money into a black hole. I don't know what you're doing if you don't have those 3 things. And those 3 things, don't say, Buck, I have those. And I say, great, email me the strategy. Email me the strategy, the brand, and the persona. Oh, I don't have that. Then you have an idea. That's not a strategy. You're like, I have an idea of what I like. That's shooting from the hip.
Well, and you might have different personas. Like a lot of our clients, when we're diving deep into their data, like they have different pockets of people that they connect with.
100%.
And so, of course, this is again maybe another even podcast, but it's like you dive into that. It's like your message is going to change by those personas. There's going to be some overlap,
So true.
but you got to really speak to them.
Yeah.
It's the nice thing for like business that's, maybe you deal with mothers and then you deal with fathers. It's like you got to say something that's for the guys and something for the ladies.
Yeah, there's definitely some brands that, cater to different personas. I always say when you're creating content, you've got to focus in on one though, because the problem is you try to have a conversation with all of them at one time. And you know the quote, Joel, you've heard it before. If you're talking to everybody, then you're speaking to no one, right? Yep. And so that's the biggest issue. When I see, let me give you an example. I see a real estate agent. Ready? Here's what they do. Oh God, it kills me. I get so passionate about this. Here we go. Ready? I'm a real estate agent in every freaking micro market across the US. Hey, if you're looking to buy, you're looking to sell, you want to invest, maybe you're an empty nester or you're going through a divorce and you need to downsize, right? What did I just do? I just casted 7 personas in less than 5 seconds, which means none of them believe you're the one to solve their problem because you're trying to solve everyone's problem at one time. Instead of, there's nothing worse than going through a divorce and trying to mediate the sale of your house. The reason I'm an expert is not because I sell the house for you in a timely manner, but I do it in a way that's peaceful in the relationship. You see the difference? When you just hone in on exactly who you're talking to, that's the difference that most people don't know.
And what you're doing in that conversation too, is you're selling the future.
Yeah.
Versus other things. And it's that positive outcome. People always want a positive outcome. So you're saying,
not the product. Yeah. It's not the product or service that you're selling. It's the feeling you want them to have at the end result. That's exactly it. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So
cool.
that's lovely. That
guys,
really
listen, if you're listening to this podcast or watching it live or rewatching it later, Joel's bringing in some of the best guests. And this is ask him. He's paid thousands of dollars to hear me say what I'm telling him right now. He's paid thousands of dollars to come to workshops back when I was at Cardone. Yeah, literally. So if you're watching this right now, take notes, write this stuff down and apply it because Joel's bringing it to you for free. You're not charging for this, are you, Joel?
No, I'm not. No, this is stuff that we're giving out because these are the things you know our business well, Buck. It's like these are the challenges we run into because if somebody is developing their personal brand, when they get to the part where they're paying for traffic, they're that traffic they pay for.
That's right.
That personal brand it amplifies it 10x.
Yep.
Or if not more, just simply because then people can connect with that.
Yeah.
That brand, that individual and the product or service.
It's so true. Yeah.
But yeah, take notes, guys, take notes. I mean, it's a great privilege to have you on here to share these things. So those top things there too, what do you think the big problems you shared one, as an example, like real estate agent, what are some of the other problems that you see a lot of individuals make on that personal brand?
Man, I'm going to give you a couple because here's the deal. I was making fun of real estate agents. I shouldn't do that. I was making fun of real estate agents that make that content, but here, let me tell you why I like them. They tried. They're trying. Muscle memory. They're doing it. They're doing it wrong, but they're doing it. You
Right.
scarcity mindset entrepreneurs that go, I don't need to be online. I don't know how to tell a story. I don't want to put my face. I need makeup or else I'm not going to. If you live in that environment, that's the
Right.
number one issue I find, Joel, more than people doing it wrong. See, they hear me say you're doing it wrong and they go, well, then I'm just not going to try it at all. And I would rather you do it wrong. I know entrepreneurs who create success incorrectly, but they do it through sheer force and consistency because they don't stop. There's the woman that has the $1 million brokerage or the $1 million business versus the college student who graduated, and she can't understand why this young Gen Z is getting more leads than her, even though her content isn't completely strategic or formatted a certain way. It's because she shows up every day. And what she's showing is if she believes in herself, then her clients are going to believe in her because they trust that. But the woman that's been doing it for years and says, I have a great retention, my clients tell other clients, it's all earned media, that woman wonders when the well dries up why she doesn't have any authority online and no diversified lead generation because she just counted on one source all these years. And yet, what does she have? Again, at the end of the business, what do you have when you sell everything? When the well dries up, you've got your equity, you've got your personal brand. And so I would say the biggest issue, Joel, to answer your question is people that don't even try. I'd rather you don't even listen, don't even work with me. Don't even work with me. Just watch the podcast, take notes, and go. Just go, create. Don't be so passive. Joel, the biggest issue in social media right now is everybody's freaking passive.
They're going to
get
figure it out
online.
anyway.
Yeah, I'll get a couple hundred followers from here, Joel. I'll get a couple hundred followers. 2 of them are going to DM me and go, hey, that was really cool. It was nice to meet you. The other 190 of them, 195 of them, or however many, they just, I'll watch this guy. I don't know. I'll see what he's up to. Is there anything good I can take for? Like, connect. That's what social's for. Make things. Create with people.
Right. And yeah, you just got to get out there and try. I mean, I think of myself and I'm like, okay, I feel uncomfortable doing it.
Yeah.
And I realize that, you know what? That's why I need to go do it. So
Yeah.
you feel that and you take time out of the equation.
Yeah.
And like you said, you just got to get in there and do it.
That's it,
And
man.
that muscle memory starts to grow. And then you start to connect and you start to figure out like, what are people connecting with?
Yeah.
And you start to make it more concise as far as that explanation of what you're doing. And
Yeah.
I love that. That's fantastic. What would you say are some of the on these strategies that you're helping clients do? What are some of the biggest successes you've seen? Like that, you know, you got the big brands like Grant Cardone and those guys and Starbucks and Nike, but let's talk about uh, what many people would consider your your entrepreneur starting out. Like
Yeah, that's a great
what's
question. Let me give you 2 examples that I really love. One is a credit card processing entrepreneur. He's very much building a business around how to lower your rates in your credit card processing out of California, but he serves the nation. He's got a team of like 4 or 5 guys. And look, he hasn't been online. He was scared to get in front of the camera. We did some 101. We actually flew to San Diego to be with him, and we helped him build this company out online where he was the ambassador of the brand. And in the first week, he got 2 businesses that wanted to lower the credit card processing. And that's reoccurring revenue for him. That's cash flow for him. And so he was like, once you get a taste of seeing how it works, it's different. It doesn't
yeah,
always work in 7 days. It could take 90. It depends on the ticket price. It could take 90 days. It doesn't, there's no number of like, it's going to work in the first week. And that's where most entrepreneurs give up. But we saw him in less than 7 days make connection with 2 people. And so the question you ask yourself is, 1, is the target or consumer online? If the answer is yes, the question is, at this moment right now, while you watch myself and Joel have this conversation, who are you missing a conversation with because you didn't create content today, right? And everybody thinks transactionally. They always think, oh yeah, my clients are online. I'm not making stories. Therefore, I'm missing the point to connect with them today. Yes, you are. Productive paranoia. You are missing money right now by not creating more with your personal brand. But it isn't just about the client. You know what I'm focused on as a $3 million agency, and we're going quickly to 50 million in the next 3 years. That's our trajectory. Here's what I'm missing. This is what I'm focused on right now. This is what I'm missing. I know that the equity is there on the biz dev side. I'm missing talented people that I need because I can't keep up with the amount of business I have. I am only focused right now. My personal brand is not to get money, it's to get talent. So don't give me the business is good, I don't need to get on camera. Okay, good. Then your business is going to stay small because you're not recruiting with your personal brand. There's always an excuse. I don't want to do biz. I already have enough money. Business is good. I don't need to put my face on it. No, okay. What about Joel, who's going to help you from a technology standpoint, get the business to operate smarter, not harder? Who's going to study the data and extrapolate it? You missed him today. You should have been online. You should have been creating. You should have been connecting because you missed the opportunity to learn about Joel and what he does so you could create more success in your business. You missed recruiting. You missed the new client. You're missing opportunities to connect with people to help the business grow. Yes, you can go knock on doors. Network at local events, bump fist, shake, hit the elbow, shake hands, kiss the babies. I'm old school. I like to go to events. Great. Work hard and sweat your ass off the rest of your life. I'd rather meet 200 people in less than an hour and come talk to Joel online.
There you go. Or do it all.
That's right. Second story I'll tell you. Second story, because I want to go back to your point. I got a guy who busted into a new industry, luxury horse saddles. Horse saddles. Okay, out of France. And we started showing very elegant, bespoke leather, unboxing, and describing the value proposition of these beautiful saddles. They're not just good to look at. They actually have technology set inside the saddle. This is a $10,000 saddle that'll give you Bluetooth results, data of the gallop of the horse to tell you if one of their foot is off rhythm. Right? So you can say, hey, from a health standpoint, my horse's foot is off pattern, right? So he goes on TikTok, 400,000 views, DMs at one video. It just took one video. We did 20, but it took one. One of them hits. Now he's getting a DM every day. Tell me about this saddle. I have horses. I want to work with you, but that's the problem. If he wasn't creating 20, if he gave up on video 19, if he gave up on the 19th time he did, man, I've done 19 of these, Buck, and I get nothing. And I got 20 views and I got 2 comments, right? But then bam, 400,000 every day he gets like 20, 30,000 new views on this thing. And now the question is, why did it work? Why did it work? And what do? Rinse, repeat. Rinse and repeat. We're data marketers. Who really enjoyed this? What about the video created so much impact that people watched so long throughout the video? And study those pieces, because now we're going to do it again. We're going to rinse and repeat it.
Interesting. Now here's an interesting question here for you too, because sometimes some entrepreneurs, they'll acquire other brands, and these other brands have that social asset.
Yep.
How would you say that those businesses should be using that to help? Like, I'll give you a simple example. Let's say they got one on Instagram, one account, huge active following, strong engagement, and it's all been built around a nice personal brand there. That's been sold. Now it's this other company, same type of business. How could they maximize on such a thing? Because you do have those opportunities out there where you can actually go buy a brand that's been built. How would you do that? You're
talking about acquiring a corporate social media account.
Yeah. And this is probably moving away from the whole personal brand topic a little bit.
Yeah. A corporate brand is very different. So corporate brand is used for attention, awareness, education, and credibility. It's really education more than anything. And here's why. A corporate brand never closes deals. Write that down. A corporate brand does not close deals. It's social search. I want to invest in the horse saddle. I love that I saw this gentleman unboxing it and describing it. Before I buy a $10,000 saddle, I'm going to look up the brand name Voltaire, and I'm going to go look at their platform, and I'm going to check their website and their Instagram, and I'm going to watch 10 more videos before I buy. But I'm not going to DM the random brand. I'm going to DM the guy with the saddle. I'm going to DM him and say, I want more. I need this. I like you. I trust you. But before I do that, I'm going to go watch these corporate videos of Here are the 5 things these saddles are known for. Bop, 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 right? Education, educate, credibility and education. That's what corporate social is for. I think too many people try to turn their corporate brand into a personal brand. And then they wonder why the name of their Instagram is the name of their company and nobody engages with it, because they're trying to make it personal, but it's corporate and it's not being used in the right way. And here's the truth, man. If you're under $5 million in revenue, $10 million in revenue, until you're Starbucks, Nike, Google, until you have brand recognition, brand equity in a marketplace, you've been around for 20 years and everyone knows who you are. Nobody cares what the name of your company is. They care what it does for them. And the only way to get that point across is you as the ambassador of the company. And until you train other leaders in your organization to also be thought leaders and ambassadors for that brand, you're the only reason people are buying until you hit that stride where you have 10 executives that are all making content the same way. That's why here at the agency, I have everyone from top to bottom making content every day, because they're learning what works for me so that I one day can go golfing with Joel and I don't have to make content one day. I'm going to make the rest of the agency make content. They're going to be the ambassadors. So that's the process you need to follow.
I like that. Chelsea, mark that. We're going to have everyone start with
let's go
content.
Today. Let's go. While we're on the podcast, show what we're doing.
Actually, that's an excellent idea.
Get the phone out. Let's go.
It's actually right up here. What have you seen the impact when you've gotten a company to do that? Like, how has that blown them up? And this is
when they start using ambassadors to train and create content as well. A good example of that is my buddy Andy Elliott. Do you know who that is?
100%.
Yeah, he lives down the street from me, and he mandates that his team gets online, streams live every day, makes connections, and he's the fastest organic growing sales trainer on Instagram right now. I was with him when he had 420,000 followers. 3 months later, he's at like 1.2 million. And like literally he's like sits down, he goes, "Buck, look at my settings. No paid media. He's not running ads. It's all organic. It's just pure value." And the fact is that he's called the Elliott Army. The fact is he's got an army. His guys are making 18 pieces of content a day, and they're all on the same mission. Because the biggest thing I see is you say, "Team, I need you all to create content." You know what they do? Self-serving, I this, I that. No, everyone needs to go to the North Star. What are we all trying to create? We all need to be focused on the same thing. And so be very careful when you open up that mandate for people to learn how to create. Make sure you give guides and guardrails of like what is appropriate content and what's the North Star of what everyone's trying to achieve.
Right. So keep it consistent. So basically you're talking about basically an SOP, standard operating procedure. This is how we're going to make content.
That's exactly it.
This is the type of questions or the type of the way that we present the information. And this is in fact how you hold your phone. And all those things are really critical. Now,
right.
you have a lot of people though that you might have as, for example, employees in an organization, and there might be that initial resistance. Would you say, they're like, "Well, my Instagram is my personal stuff. So set up a new one. Set up a new one and do it."
I would say that, yes. I would say remove all objections and restrictions from somebody that's making excuses. Right. Look, I get it. You got this account with 5 cats and your ants on there. Leave it private. Nobody wants to see it. But go create another one so you can connect with more people. And then you got to ask the question, if they're not willing to do it, do they want to grow personally? And are they willing to do whatever it takes to get there? And if they're not, then you got to question whether they're there for the long term. Look, some people in your organization, maybe they don't want to do it, but they're good for where you're at right now. They're just not going to be there long term. So they go into a bucket. They go into the short-term bucket. They're there to serve a need right now, but they're never going to develop themselves to grow, to be that person, to be open to connect with more people. And look, we both have, I got 3 years of experience in the Cardone network. You've studied and gone to almost every master class they offer. Everyone in the organization is a salesperson. And if you don't have that kind of culture, you're missing out. You're losing big. So I would say, empower your team to know that they should understand the sales cycle, understand the scripts, understand the product, service, and value propositions, and they should be selling anyone they can help.
Every opportunity.
That's right.
No, and when you here's what I'll definitely say along that line, because we have our whole team trained. We were talking about this before we started. We
Yeah.
have our whole team trained here on
Yeah.
Cardone University.
Yep.
Even our people that never would touch a phone,
Yep.
right? There are graphic designers, there are video editors, and they design animations. But the reason why we have everybody trained is just simply because it brings alignment to what mission your organization is on. And those people only join your organization because they like where you're going and they want to be a part of that. So if you want to be a part of something, you got to be willing to pick up the oar and row.
That's exactly right. Yep.
So
That's exactly right.
and the results when you get a team that does that, I mean, we've seen that, this year more than any other year, we've seen a 38% growth just because of that.
So huge, man. Congrats.
And so it's like you start stacking that and that gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Like you've been talking about, like this, it snowballs real quickly, doesn't it?
It sure does. Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. So I got kind of a final question. And
Hit me, man.
So Be Growth Driven is our podcast here. We picked those words very intentional because what we're trying to talk to and share information with is those individuals that want to grow.
Yep.
They want to stretch outside of that comfort zone. In fact, those
Yep.
people that are watching this live, watching the replay, you only came across because that's you.
Yep.
What does that mean to you?
Be growth driven.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so when I think of being growth driven, I think of two things. One, setting your goals. I think too many people are driven, but they're going in circles because they don't really have a destination. So being growth driven means you know where you're going. Two, you're organized. I think the number one defeat in any business is people that just do recklessly without being organized on the process. So understand, Hormozy talks about being prioritized. He says marketing is only prioritization. That's it. It's just priority. What is the priority? Marketing is priority. Find your priorities and organize them, right? What is going to create the biggest impact in revenue, which is going to create the biggest impact in growth, which is going to create the biggest impact in your life and your legacy, right? It all starts with what's the KPI? Prioritize the KPI. What is it?
Right.
Because if you think spending 5 hours in your freaking Canva design for that shitty piece of content that you're going to post is better than you following up with the 900 contacts in your phone, you got the wrong KPI. If you think for 5 seconds that you, talking to your ex about whatever issue you're having in your relationship is going to drive more revenue for your business than you creating an Instagram, watching Joel's podcast so that you can show people you're developing yourself. If you think that's the case, your priorities are mixed up. So being growth driven really is about priority for me more than anything,
I love that. And I think you got to be relentless on that. Like it's got to become such an absolute obsession.
Yeah.
That you see no other option but going that direction.
I would say committed. You got to be committed.
Yeah.
Hey, even if you're not relentless, like as long as you attack it and you're committed to it. Because I watch people go relentlessly for a week and then they bail. I'd say, I don't care how much effort you're doing. I'd say at least just do it every day. Don't slack on being committed to it every day.
Well, the one thing that would help people do that, you mentioned it as the first one, destination.
Yeah.
Right. If they don't have that destination and that destination doesn't mean something big enough for them,
that's
then
right.
all of that relentlessness will not make sense.
So true. So true, brother.
I got someone peeking up over here. If you kind of see that.
Uh-oh. There she is.
I had to come say hi.
Hi, friend. How are you?
We miss ya.
I miss you too. I know it's been too long. When you guys get in Arizona, get out here and let's party.
Oh, it's been a minute.
Just tell us when.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah, tis the season. The weather is gorgeous here. So get out here.
Just tell us the time, man, and we're there.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Come on.
Noon.
Come on, man. Get
Oh,
out of here.
come on, Buck.
Does Monday work?
Monday.
Does
Monday
Monday
or
work?
Tuesday?
Let's go. We leave. If you come Monday, I got an event you can come to with me and Coach Burt. We're doing an event called Purpose Driven, Finding Your Purpose. It's a 6-hour event here in Scottsdale on Monday.
What time does it start?
Actually, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, and then we do it again in Dallas on Wednesday. So we fly to Dallas Wednesday, but we do it. I think it starts at 9 a.m. Let me look at my calendar real quick. But Coach Burt and I are doing a fun little event here in Scottsdale. No, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Then Wednesday we do it in Dallas. 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Package Your Purpose, Scottsdale, Arizona. Locked in. You guys should come. You would enjoy it.
Hey, let me see if Wednesday or Tuesday works better. 100%.
Yeah, Dallas or Scottsdale. Obviously, Scottsdale is more fun, but wherever.
It is. It is.
Cool.
We've got a pack calendar. So I gotta. That's not making an excuse. See, now I feel like I'm making excuses.
No white space in your calendar. It's a good thing.
It
don't
is.
Listen,
make it happen.
I'm telling you, no white space, but also like I'm going to be honest with you. I'm excited to hear Coach because I've never spent a lot of intimate time with him in a long term. And he's really big on what's your purpose. And I'm wondering if I know my purpose. I feel like I do, but I'm always open to learning more. If there's an area of my purpose I could dive deeper on. So I'm going to listen to him and then I go up after, because once you have your purpose, I'm going to teach you how to package it into a personal brand. And so it's a dual day of package a purpose and package your personal brand. And I'm just, I'm going to be there with my notepad learning from Coach. And then I'm going to go up and do what I do with personal brand. So
I love that.
CoachBurt.com.
Reminds me of another mutual good a friend of ours, Miriam.
Oh, yeah, Miriam. That's right. Yeah, she does do a lot on purpose. So true.
She hits that hard. Anyways, man, that's awesome. I legitimately going to check my calendar to see.
Do it. Come on out.
Again. So, Buck, I immensely appreciate. I love always seeing your stuff. Love visiting with you.
Thank you, Bob. Congrats on the success.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You boil things down so concisely, so easy to put into action and into play. So we really appreciate your time today, sharing all this great knowledge and information. And we look forward to the next time. So for all of you that are not following Buckwise, look in the comments, look in the notes. We're going to put links to closing day, to his socials, all of those things. So that way you guys can find him, follow him, put the little ringer thing on so you always get notified.
Reach out and say hi. Don't be a stranger. DM me.
DM. He answers his DMs. So same thing with myself. But again, thank you very much for jumping on, and we appreciate every one of us for joining.